So welcome everybody to another episode of the J2 Hub podcast. Today's guest has actually been on the podcast before in 2021. And we had a very, very interesting chat back then, spoke about a lot of things. And I took the opportunity of getting him back on the podcast because he was in Dubai here. So it made perfect sense to get him into the studio, sit down, pick his brains on what's going on and the kind of things he's working on, do a bit of a comparable between the UK and Dubai, and see what his thoughts are on what's going on in this wonderful country. Now, when I last spoke to this guest, I mentioned in my show notes that he's probably one of the most laser-focused people that I've come across. And I still believe that today. When I met him back in 2021, he was super laser-focused then. And I think his laser focus now has just gone to a next level. So Alfred, thank you so much for joining me on the J2 Hub podcast once again.
Definitely good to be back, James. It's been a minute as well. So
yeah, it's been a while. Yeah. Well, look, thank you so much for coming on. So, Alfred, look, I'm going to start straight away with that question, which I think you're quite well known for, is breaking the 9-to-5 pattern back in the UK. So when I look at some of your content, some of your early content on how you stepped away from that 9-to-5 and how you went down the road of knowing that there was something more to life than working in a 9-to-5. Because when I look at your content and when I see you speak, there's always that emphasis on your early days on when you got away from that. I'm not going to call it a trap because it was probably quite a good way to start.
Yeah.
But tell me, when did you realize that the 9-to-5 just wasn't for you and that there was something out there more than that? Because I'm sure people listening right now, they just think there's one path and that's get a good job and that's it. Yeah,
so obviously, like society norms tells you get a good degree, get a good job, and life is rosy. But like, I used to once upon a time think 60 grand a year was like the pinnacle of like being good and being sorted, and kind of earn that and kind of realize, okay, this clearly isn't enough to sustain even myself alone. It might sound strange to some people saying 60 grand a year is not a lot of money, but in reality, it's not a lot of money. And the context is, I think for myself, I'd always aspire to build wealth young. And so like upon researching, okay, how do I get about kind of going past the 6-figure mark in the corporate world? I was a project manager at the time, looking at kind of how to become a senior project manager. I'm searching and it's kind of telling me a 5-10 year kind of trajectory of me getting to that position where I've got the experience and be able to qualify for that senior position. So like, okay, so the vehicle of 5-10 years to only probably potentially even max 150 grand, maybe let's call it 200 grand even a year, which is a good salary, you can say. Mm-hmm. But ultimately, I would have spent 5 to 10 years of my life to only have the earning potential of 200 grand. So for me, it was like, is that worth the game to play? I.e., is it worth the journey? Is it worth the time invested? And is there a better vehicle potentially that can provide me a better earning potential? And upon researching, I think the first thing I kind of leaned towards was property. So it's like, okay, how can I get property and build income through that and surpass my earning potential in what I have in this career? So kind of understanding that and obviously investing in myself, getting educated and understanding it's actually way possible to do that through property. I was like, okay, clearly this is the vehicle I want to be in. So it was about now, how do I transition from the working environment into kind of working on property full time and having a business. And I guess as well, like there was a lot of like data points that kind of showed me to build wealth. People that were amassing wealth, or people that were even where I was working, like the products that we were creating for these customers, they kind of did like a profiling of what I did. Also, just to put this context, I was working at Jaguar Land Rover, and I worked in the SVO department at one point, so special vehicle operations, and that's basically where the high-end cars are being built and customized, all that stuff. And there was like an induction day where kind of like breaking down, okay, well, who's our customer? What do they look like as an avatar? Right. And the pattern was they were all business owners, whether they were in real estate, whether they were chain restaurants, they had a business, it could be a simple thing, landscaping, whatever. The underlying factor was everyone that could afford a 200 grand car, 300 grand car, specking 20 grand on a paint for a car, they were all business owners. I'm like, well, clearly, I don't see no employees having this flex or being able to be in a position where they can do these things. So it's like, I've got to become a business owner. It kept, I guess, dawned on me like, yeah, I'm the wrong vehicle to get the opportunity to be able to earn in the millions, if that makes sense. Mm-hmm.
Would you say that was the aha moment when you saw that avatar and thought, hold on, there seems to be a pattern here?
Obviously, I think it's been a build over time in terms of like I've been seeing things. So like I've been exposed, not exposed, but in the word, but like I've seen others that have gone on to do well and build success and have the finer things in life. And again, the underlying factor was we're all business owners, but I think being in a working environment and kind of being not like you said the word trap, not trap, but like you're thinking of how can I do more, how can I earn more, and kind of seeing that you're providing value to the company, but ultimately it's still time being spent. And it's like, I'd rather spend that time in a vehicle where I can earn a lot more. And I think the concept of people thinking that to earn more, you have to do a lot more work is a false, literally it's a false concept. Actually, it's the reverse, which is weird as well. And you have to kind of look at like, you can see a super hardworking person who's worked 15 hours a day, make a living, and someone probably done even an hour's worth of work and made 10 times, 100x what this person's done for the entire whole day. So it's like, it clearly shows you like, you've got to work smarter and find ways in which, and it's not like the concept like you're not going to work. You like, again, the concept of, again, there was a saying from a rapper who was saying, I don't know any rich person that doesn't work. So that, again, a concept of like, I get rich and I get wealthy and I don't work, I retire, is a flawed concept. Because again, I personally don't know any rich person that doesn't work. Every rich person I know loves the game, wants to go like grow in the business, wants to develop themselves. So there's always that hunger and drive to like, what's the next level up? What's the next opportunity for us to be able to do more?
Sure.
So again, another bubble I need to burst. There is no retirement, unfortunately.
It's that old saying, isn't it? When you love what you do, you just carry on doing it.
Yep, exactly that.
So Alfred, how long was it, that period of years before you thought, okay, this is it, I'm out, from starting in the corporate world to actually stepping out and thinking, I am done?
Yeah, so I think the storyline is I graduate, a month after I graduate, I get a job at Jaguar Land Rover. I'm excited. I'm starting 40 grand salary, thinking I've made it. Like, good company, parents are proud, everyone's happy.
Let's not get dizzy. That's a decent salary for someone to start off in.
The context now is like, to start.
Taking out what you know now.
Yes, taking out what I know now, 100%. It was great. Like I said, at the time I was super grateful, and I'm still super grateful for where I was at the time. And I always actually believe that, look, what's meant for me is meant for me. When it's meant for me, it will come to me. So I'm not like, oh, I wish I could have done something else. Like, people, I look back and say, would you have gone to uni knowing what you know now? And I'm like, look, but no, knowing what I know now, probably the answer is I wouldn't have gone, but ultimately would I have had the same success if I'd not gone to uni. Maybe I could have struggled in business, failed, then gone to uni, try and get a degree, getting a job. So like, you can't, hindsight, you can't tell what your life could have been.
Sure.
So I just genuinely believe what's meant for you is what's meant for you. So kind of coming back, I've forgotten the question.
The period of time it took you to step out.
Of time. So in terms of timeline, so as I was saying, came out of uni, got a job, starting 40k salary, and I kind of got all the way to 60k. But
in what period of time?
5 years. So
Okay.
like I said, 5 years. Call it 5 years, whatever. 4.5 years. I guess what I'm trying to say is it took me about 3 years in the corporate world to get to 60k. And then I stopped focusing on increasing my income in work. I actually looked outside of work to increase my income.
Okay.
So like I was making probably about 80, 90 grand a year, just doing other things outside, like side hustles. And it all stems from me kind of wanting to earn more, one, and researching, like I was saying, the whole corporate ladder and seeing how I can climb it, and kind of realizing maybe it's not a game I want to play. So then me investing into my education, kind of property investment, and learning about property investment, how it works as a business. And the first concept of me learning how to raise capital was when I went to this seminar and kind of got taught about how to kind of understand how money works and how to borrow money for cheap and be able to go away and utilize that money, make more.
Mm-hmm.
And so I was like, okay, cool. I can very easily implement this right now. Like, I know business owners that require money. I know people that have got money sitting, because people at JLR would brag about their retirement savings, what they can't wait to retire. And so I knew people around me had money. So I was like, okay, cool.
So suddenly the people you worked with became your customers.
Exactly that. So I was like, okay, I've just learned this thing whereby I just need to understand the principle of borrowing money cheaply, putting it somewhere where we can make more and be able to pay the people back, plus the interest we're in the capital for. So that was kind of my first thing in, I guess, I want to call it business, but it was like, in essence, I would go around raising capital for events. So these were events for university students, and we would hire artists to perform, and obviously ticket sales, bar, all that stuff, that would be our profit. And then we'll split that and then obviously pay our investors back as well. So my involvement in that was literally raising capital. I never went to a single event, nothing. It was just simply go borrow money from James, allocate it to this thing, and we make money, and then keep growing that. So like a good 2 years, I was making additional 20 to 30 grand a year just by doing this events thing for universities.
Sure.
And like I said, I kind of use that time to build my knowledge on how to actually acquire property and how to understand how to appraise, find deals, all that stuff, and start to execute on that. So I kind of got sidetracked in the sense I was not thinking, I'm making some easy money here, like no work, no additional time required from myself apart from going out and raising capital. In terms of the actual work of sending events out, again, artist book, that was the promoter I'd partner up with to do the deals. So from my perspective, it was kind of easy money. And then allowed me to kind of focus on, okay, how do I become a property investor full time? And that took 5 years in total, in terms of from when I started my career to me now leaving the corporate world and going full time. And it wasn't a fortunate thing of, I just walked away from it because I'd got the income I now needed from property. No, actually the reverse happened. It was COVID happens. What's called contracts get terminated because we're working on future projects and they're like, we don't know what the future is, so we're going to terminate contracts until further notice. And so at that point, I think what I'd done, which gave me the confidence to go all in on property, was one, I'd invested myself prior to that, so I had the know-how. So I just acquired my first not long ago. Before that literally like a month after I'd acquired my first, they terminated the contract. So I was like, you know what, I'm already in. Let's just execute on this and build from here and just keep like going. And I think what was playing in my mind is I always have this saying of like, if I had all the time, i.e. 4 hours to spend at work, if I had all the 4 hours in the property business, there's no reason why I couldn't be doing what others that I was networking with were doing in their property businesses.
Suddenly you had it.
So now having this, like, I had to prove to myself, well, Alfred, you said you can do it. Here's the opportunity to prove to yourself that you now have 40 hours, all your time back. Can you go and build this portfolio you claim you can build? Looking at others and saying like because they got it all the time in the world, there's no in my head I was thinking the reason why they are where they are is because they've had all the time in the world to go and do this. And if I had all the time in the world to go and build my business, there's no reason why I couldn't be as good as them or even be better than them. I'm not arrogantly, but like comparing of like, there's no reason why I couldn't go and do more.
Yeah, of course.
And that's in essence what happened. I just backed myself, went for it all in. And obviously hindsight, it was a scary moment, like going from $5,000 a month to zero overnight.
Yeah, I was going to say, how'd that make you feel?
Because it was easy money. Like it wasn't like I wasn't sweating for that money. It was like project management role, meetings, engineering, like it was quite straightforward. I guess I was good at my job as well. So you
could still smell your aftershave at the end of the day.
Definitely.
So, I always say if you can smell your aftershave at the end of the day of a hard day's work, it's a good job.
Definitely. So yeah, so like it was like, okay, how can I just go away, implement the information that I've been learning over the couple of years of kind of working and gaining the confidence, and now just deliver on building out a portfolio for myself. And obviously for me, it worked out on a good side. But like I said, it's still scary for like kind of wanting to back yourself and go into this deep end where you don't really know what the outcome is, because I hadn't necessarily completed a deal.
Yeah.
I was in progress of doing one. And during COVID, again, adverse times, but again, fortunate, had a good team around me to be able to help me execute on that. So it worked out okay and gave me the confidence to do more. So yeah.
Alfred, something you said there about investing in yourself and training, I'm somebody who's, all for it. I think training, people need to carry on training. You need to keep expanding your skills. And I think with yourself, I know from our previous podcast, you did spend a considerable money on training. And for some people, when they heard that, and I look back at the comments, they were like, what? He spent this amount of money on training? He spent this amount of money on training? Now, seeing what's available to people today in terms of training, it's just there. There's so much of it. You can go out and get training for free, or you can kind of, put yourself higher up on that training ladder and be around the people that you need to. I remember when I started, there wasn't all it, because look, I'm a lot older, and going back, I think now it was 1996 before they even had solid internet connections in the house. Jesus. And even then, it was like a dial-up connection. I remember this, and I remember trying to get information, and Yahoo had just started as a search engine. It was so slow. You still tended to go to the library to get information, or you went to somebody who had already done something that you wanted to do. So I think nowadays there's no excuse for it, for people investing in themselves. But tell me, I know you're a big believer in self-development and
Yeah.
spending money on education. For people that don't know, because most of the people listening will be in Dubai, tell them about, some of the money you spent on education, because I know what it is now. Back then, I think it was around 20 odd thousand we were sitting at, but now I know it's probably about enough to buy a nice flash car, at least.
Definitely, probably more.
So tell me your whole thinking behind, personally investing in yourself. Because look, most people and most businesses have more of a budget for entertainment and going out and getting pissed than they do for self-education of their staff or their team or to grow their team.
Yeah.
Tell me your thoughts on it, because I know they go deep.
Yeah. So, I don't want to make it sound like, so obviously initially my first ever, exposure to self-development and personal development was when I went out to try and seek information about property investment. So for me, my context was, well, I want to go and buy properties, invest in properties. No one around me, family, I can't go ask mum, dad, uncles, how do you buy an investment property? They've never done it. All they've ever done is bought it at home. So that's all they know. So I'm like, okay, no one in my network has that information. So I can't even pick up a phone and call anybody. So who am I going to go to? So there's only one place I could find where this is a norm. People are buying properties, just like a everyday thing that is very normalized. So I'm like, okay, cool. This sounds like some place I want to be. I want to hang around people like that. So what I didn't realize is obviously there's a cost to be around people like that. And obviously it was a hard thing to absorb because at the time money was still kind of precious.
Sure.
And it's kind of technically it's not precious to me now. No. But the point I'm trying to make is it was a precious thing for me to be able to go out there and say, I'm going to spend X amount of money on education. And my first, expenditure into this was £1,000. So first thing was £1,000, come and spend 3 days with us to teach you the basics of property investment, how it works, the ins and out. So cool, £1,000, spend that, get in the room. They're now obviously
that isn't that painful.
Yeah, £1,000. Some people still arguing over £1,000. But £1,000, I would like to think it's not painful. You can invest it, whatever situation you're in. So that's step one. Get in the room. It's like a 3-day over the weekend. The last day, obviously, they're upselling you onto a program, which is kind of intense, over 2 years, several courses, mentorship. And that was a 24 grand investment. And that got me I was like, damn, okay, that's a lot of money. That is literally everything I have right now. It wasn't everything I had. So I know I put a screenshot recently of because people don't believe that I actually emptied my bank account to make this move.
Yeah.
So there was I put a screenshot basically showing that the price is 24,000. I only had 20,000, I think, and when I made the payment, there's £5.85 left in my bank account.
Wow.
And this is all I had left. So I didn't have the money to pay the balance of the 4 grand. And what I'd agreed with them is I can save 2 grand a month from my corporate days. So that I can pay you over the next 2 months, 2 grand in installments to clear the remaining 4 grand. So that was the agreement. So hence I only paid 20 grand on the day. So that was the first step into damn, okay, going all in.
Did you tell anybody when you did that?
Of course I did. I had to go back and tell my mum and dad, guys, by the way, I invest in this program.
What was the reaction?
Obviously, mum was like, what have you done? Go get your money back. It's African household, they're not used to, they're not exposed to this kind of stuff. So it's it just sounds foreign and extreme. Why would you do such a thing? Why would you, again, the mind's why would you not go and buy a property with that money? Why would you not put that money into property? I'm like, yeah, that was actually the plan. I was saving to go and put that money into maybe a personal purchase for myself. But I'm ultimately, doing that, one, I have no knowledge, I have no wisdom, I'm still ignorant. And if I want to do well and go on to build something big, I feel like it's on me to kind of get educated on this. The same way I went and got a degree before getting a project management job and being able to earn 60 grand coming to the final days, is the same thing of well, I've got to spend this 24 grand investment, but the opportunity now is 7 figures, i.e. I can earn 7 figures plus, I can have an asset base 7 figures plus, whatever. So it's the opportunity was huge. And it's I can look at the 20 grand and feel like it's a lot of money because that's all I had at the time. And kind of say, don't make the move. And trust me, it wasn't an easy decision, but I kind of sold it to myself in several different ways. And we kind of talked about it a bit. You said it yourself, people will spend money on holidays, people will spend money on luxury items. And I'm like, okay, over my lifetime, I'm going to spend this 24 grand investment on whether it's takeaway. Takeaway alone, I'll spend 24 grand. Holidays, I'll spend 24 grand. None of these activities will help me increase my earning potential.
Yeah.
So here's an opportunity or vehicle whereby I can spend this money with the outcome of having a 7-figure earning asset base. So why would I not make this bet on myself? Even if it went wrong, like ultimately I can still make that money back in my corporate days. Like, so what's the problem?
Sure.
And again, this is probably a trigger one. So you guys are paying HMRC a lot more than 20 grand in your career, and you won't spend 20 grand to actually develop yourself, get yourself more knowledgeable. Like how, like just think of that logic. Like you're paying someone who's done no work, they just collected a check because you've done the work, and you wouldn't spend that money on yourself. Like I'm just like the same amount of money on yourself. How does that make sense logically? So like whichever you want to look at it, like you're spending that money on something.
Yeah.
So where do you want to redirect that money to? So yeah, it was still a hard decision. I don't want to play it down. Like it was my first ever move of making that kind of investment, and it was huge. But like I said, for me, the opportunity was there. It made sense. I saw it to myself as like I can go and build something big with this. So I've got to back myself on this and get in the room, gain knowledge, and apply the information more importantly.
Yeah.
Because again, I'm not here to say go and spend that kind of money. You're going to see a 7-figure portfolio and see 6-figure income. That's not the case. Because I know people that spend more than me and probably I'm not even nowhere near where I am. So it's on you as an individual, one, being committed to what it is you're about to spend money on, and two, actually taking action and actually implementing information you're acquiring. Because without that, it's useless.
Yeah, I think, look, ultimately, if you're investing in yourself, investments don't work unless you work, right? You can't just turn up at a training course, a 3-day training course, you've paid 20 grand, and someone's going to put this nice little thing on a plate for you and say, hey, look, Alfred, eat that, and you're going to make 7 figures. You know, it just doesn't work like that.
Yeah, it doesn't.
I think number one, you got to realize, okay, I'm putting X in and I have the potential of getting Y out. But you can't just sit there and listen to this person talking and think he's going to give me the wisdom and he's going to do it for me. If you're not working and you're not doing the work, it's just not going to happen. And I see this time and time again. I had a small mentoring program for HMOs and I kicked 4 people off because automatically people think, oh, I'm going to pay this guy some money and he's going to do the work for me. It just doesn't work that way. You know, you can give someone the information, you can give them the ingredients, you can show them how to make the cake. But unless they physically go out and make that cake, them ingredients are still those ingredients. And I think this is where a lot of people go wrong. They're in two minds. They think, okay, this is bullshit. It's not going to work. Or secondly, yes, it's going to work, but I'm going to do no work because I've put a physical amount here and I want somebody else to do the work for me.
Yeah. No, it's a flawed concept. So if you're going to, like I would say to people that are going to invest heavily in the education or personal development, the onus is on you to go in and apply information. Like you can't rely on the person that is your coach, mentor, whatever, educational program to figure it out for you. Like you have to show up, you have to do work. It's not easy road, like it's a tough road. But ultimately by being around people that are doing this on a day-to-day, one, it empowers you to kind of believe that it's possible because others are doing it, or people are seeing success from doing it. And at that point, if you're not seeing success from doing the same thing that they're doing, i.e. you both have the same information but 2 different outcomes, you've got to be self-critical at that point of like, okay, why is it that this person's acquired the same information as I have, but has got much more results? So there will be a clear difference between your actions and level of, I guess, effort you're putting into this or commitment to that thing you've invested into. And generally speaking, I think it all comes down to commitment. Like how committed are you to this outcome? The more committed you are to the outcome, the more results you see and the more even faster if you see results. Sure. People that have come and kind of been educated, myself, whatever, the ones that I've seen excel very quickly, like in rapid time, 2 months, month even, got deals, they're progressing, raising capital. They've just been hungry. Like they're on it, right? Day and night. And again, I think there's a level of being ignorant in a sense. They're just following instructions. They're not over analytical. They're not overthinking. And like, I'm telling you to do this and you're like, oh, but why does it, like, just listen, I'm the one that's done. As people got results, you want to have the same result as them, do as you're told. And again, it's not like in a direct, just do as you're told, but the point is there's a blueprint to achieving this. So just follow the steps. Do not question it. Just do as you're told. And there's no reason why you will not have the outcome. Yeah. And it's a bit of a sad thing because people do get analytical. And as humans, I think the older you get, you overthink things. You try and apply your own logic to it and your own sense. But I'm like, okay, but you are applying your own logic from base where you're sitting, which isn't where you need to be to get to the outcome. So you've got to, in effect, be in the person's shoes that's been there before and then follow their steps of what was their mindset, like how did they operate, what were their attributes, i.e. are there someone that gets resourceful? Again, you kind of learn this as business owners, the ones that are successful, they kind of do whatever it takes. They just get resourceful. So we can argue about, oh, this is too much work, too much time invested, but I'm like, okay, I don't know if you want the outcome. Like, how bad is it? How bad you want it? If you don't want it, obviously you're gonna do what you're doing, and if you want it, you're gonna just put in the work. And I think people need to see is like, look, the good thing about property investment, you do the work once and get paid over a long period of time. And it's like just the upfront work is the hurdle you have to get past.
Yeah.
And if that's a problem, then I'm sorry, nobody can save you on this planet.
Yeah.
Very bluntly, like it's you and yourself to figure out your own problems.
Yeah, no, I love that about real estate. Look, we're at the last day of the month, and I'm sure when you woke up this morning, you looked at your bank account.
Tomorrow, 31st.
Yeah, so I have bits dribble in towards the end of the month.
Yeah.
And I don't care what anybody says. Once you've got over the pain of doing that HMO or a project, at the end of every single month, when you wake up and it goes ding, 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 you're like, that was my hard work. You know, that's what I went towards. But just getting back to what you said about training and following the blueprint. When I explain to people, I say, look, when you buy a piece of Lego, you see the model, it looks wicked on the box. You think, yeah, man, I'm going to build that. But unless you've got that manual to follow step 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, right to the end, if you miss steps 9, 10 out, it's not going to look like what it does on the box, right? And that's exactly what training and mentorship's like. If you are not following the system that somebody's already done and you're trying to make it easier for yourself, you're trying to twist it a little bit, you're trying to mold it towards yourself, you might get there, but it might take you a lot longer and it might not look like what somebody else has done. So I love that what you say. It's as easy as following the steps from 1 to 10.
You just got to be ignorant. It's kind of like, I know it's kind of a hard concept to understand, but like, just think of it from this place. You're trying to do something that you haven't done before. The person that's teaching has done it several times over. So they have a wider lens than you will ever have on the perspective of what it takes to actually achieve the thing you're trying to achieve. So you just got to feel like, well, I don't have the wisdom. Clearly, this person has years above me. So let me just follow what they're saying and not try and reinvent the wheel. And again, reinventing the wheel, trying to add your own spin to it. I'm like,
just leave
the best people, listen, the best people that have amassed a amount of wealth, they haven't reinvented anything. They've just literally replicated what already has been proven to work.
Absolutely.
Even the concept of saturation, again, people kind of have this, I think, the wrong perspective of the word saturation. Saturation actually, from a positive angle, is you in a space that's been proven to work, i.e. it exists as a model. So like, for example, bread. There's a reason why there's hundreds of bread brands, because people want to buy bread. People want to, you know what I mean? Like now is how good can you market so that people want to buy from you? Not necessarily have to be the best product in the marketplace. People can still buy from you if you're just being seen as the first thing they kind of know about when it comes to which bread they want to buy. Oh, I know this brand, I'm going to buy from this brand. So it's now becomes a marketing game. So the way you beat saturation for me is like, how do you market to become the best known? Because if you're thinking, oh, it's saturated, I can't go into the market, so why are new bread brands coming out every single day? Why are new water brands coming out every single day? It's a proven concept. It's proven to work. It's proven to show that there's revenue in that business model. So now it's like, we want to get in a space where it's proven to already work. And the question now is, how do we become the person or the most known brand and not even the best? And again, the concept people think, we become the best. You can be the best if nobody knows who you. Sorry, you're not making no money. It's as simple as that. iPhone, Apple. They're not the best product, but they're best known. So again, the concept of being best known wins all day long. You just all you got to be the best known. I don't want to throw some people in the property industry, but like there are some property industry guys who are here screaming, shouting. I don't think they're the best, but they're the best known. And that's why people are going to them. So it's like you can say, oh, I have more credibility. I've done more deals than this person. I've done blah blah blah. But you can argue as much as you want. They're more known than you. And that's why again people go into them, and that is it. So you get good at marketing, and a lot of problems get solved.
I love that because that leads so nicely onto my next question. I'm going to say the word omnipresent. You know what it means. I know what it means. And I want to talk about GC, Grant Cardone. Now, I've been a massive fan of his from when I remember he came to London when there was only 1,000 people in the room. And what you just said there, he may not be the best, but my man is known throughout the world. Everybody knows who he is, no matter where he goes. And I always say that guy's like a fine wine. The older he gets, the better he gets. Now, you've just said you spent 24 grand on some education. Now, feel free not to answer this, but I'm sure there's a lot of people wondering what it costs to be in a room with GC. Now, I remember when there was 1,000 people in London, it cost around £500 or £200, something like that back then. Looking on your Instagram, obviously you've met him, you spent time with him. I think, did you smoke a cigar with him? You smoked a cigar with him. Now, some people love him, some people hate him. I think he's a marketing genius. I think he's a brand genius. And every single day I learn something new from the guy. I've read his books multiple times and I continue to read them because every time I pick something up, and that one word omnipresent just sticks in my mind. And basically what it means is make sure you're known on every single platform. Everybody knows who the hell you are. I think you do that really, really well.
Thank you.
And Alfred, tell me, when did GC come into your life? And for the listeners, please tell us, how much does it cost to be with this guy in the room?
All right. So when did I come across GC? I think for me, it came down to when I was starting my personal development journey. So I invested in property. And it's quite a strange thing. So people kind of look at, getting educated in property, but actually it's a personal development journey in terms of you as an individual, where's your mindset at. Because ultimately, I feel like on a come up, like people kind of look for mechanics, i.e. how to do things. And actually rather as a game of getting your mindset right, which then allows you to then even absorb the mechanics and go and implement the mechanics. So it was at the beginning kind of reading books. And I don't know if maybe someone maybe pointed me out to one of his books, or maybe like a YouTube video, and I kind of go, this guy, I like his vibe.
You vibed with him, yeah?
Yeah. So I don't know if it was through YouTube first or a book, but in essence, I kind of came across his stuff years ago, like probably maybe a good, I want to say 6-7 years maybe ago. And I just loved his energy, man. Like was breaking down the whole stereotype of, again, it's okay to want more. It's okay to want to build wealth for your family. It's okay to become a leader. It's okay to let's just be greedy. Not people like, oh, you want to build wealth, that's being greedy. I'm like, well, in this world, I'm sorry, but we need money to survive on this planet. So we've got to be able to try and amass this thing called money. And unfortunately, it's called money. And people have attached negative meaning to money, but actually money is a good thing. It's what allows us to be able to live, look after our families, parents. It allows us to kind of travel, all these things you want to do, have nicer things. The light we see above us right now,
Sure.
Money's required to have these things. So it's, for me, I think what probably resonated with me the most with Grant Cardone is his ability to kind of think big. And I've always been a big thinker, but everyone around me is kind of always tried to kind of quiet me down, or like, why do you want more? Like even like, oh, when I got a job, but like, oh, like, why do you want to earn, like, you're making good money, like, why do you want more? Like, why is 60 grand not enough? Like, I'm like, because it's not. Yeah. The numbers don't lie. Like numbers, I'm like, listen, I'm a data person. Like, show me how 60 grand is enough to live on a year, and I'll prove you how. I'll show you the numbers on how 60 grand is not enough to live on a year. It takes one thing bad go wrong in a year, and you're wiped out. End of story.
Yeah.
So.
And sorry to interrupt, Alfred, just for the listeners here in Dubai, 60 grand in London a year is not actually 60 grand.
And thank you. And this the
60 G's a year is not what
like
you're taking.
Take home might be 37, 40 grand, if that even.
Yeah.
And divided by 12 months, come on, like an average. Just not, you know, we both know. Just go through the maths, guys. Go through the maths. Anyways, coming back to Grant. So obviously, I'd always would love to meet Grant in person. He's really inspiring. It's really inspired my journey to kind of think big, made it okay for me to think big and go for what I think I want in life. And there was a time where he came to London. I don't know where I was. He came to London, Rob Moore, I think, or like, brought him down or whatever. And he did his big event, conference, and I missed that. I was like, damn. And so I think he'd been going to lockdown, come out of lockdown. So I'm like, okay, cool. I've been seeing him do some events. I saw Business Bootcamp. So Business Bootcamp was my first like in-person event. So I've done like stuff online. He does some bootcamp stuff online. I did a lot of the virtual events. But then the first in-person, so I traveled to Miami, to where his headquarters is at, and did this Business Bootcamp. And again, that was like I got excited, bought a VIP ticket. It was like maybe $2.5, $3 to be in the room, kind of be like at the front. He wasn't actually even there. So he wasn't there for whatever reason. He came on towards one of the days on the big screens. He was somewhere else trying to close a deal.
Okay.
And so during that, I think it was over maybe 3 days as well.
Yeah.
They were kind of obviously the sales guys in the room. Like if you've ever been to one of Grant's events, you know these sales guys are relentless.
On fire, right?
On fire. Objection handling on 100. Like there's no objection you're gonna throw at them. These guys haven't got a comeback line for you. Like you're thinking, fuck me, these guys are good. So they were promoting this intimate event that Grant's hosting, 2-day out in his luxury hotel, a yacht meeting, very intimate, 30 people max. I'm thinking, damn, there's like a good maybe 2,000 people in this room at the moment. And here's an opportunity whereby I can be in the room with Grant and his exec team. And at the time when the sales guys were coming, I was dismissing. I was like, no, not interested. And it wasn't even the sales person that sold me on it, or even like planted the seed in my head. Or I guess ultimately kind of it built up. But the person that got the close was one of his marketing like personals, like so someone that's in the room helping on the marketing side of the business. So in Grant's business, everyone can sell. Everyone must be able to sell.
Right.
He offers an opportunity for everyone to earn more if you have to sell a product to somebody else in the room, whatever, a client, whatever, doesn't matter who it is. But if you sell, i.e. you're the reason why that person bought, he will give a 10% commission on that sale.
Nice.
So, which I kind of love as well as a culture thing, because like he's not capping your earning potential as being a marketing person in the business, and so maybe you'll earn 70 grand a year. He's saying, well, look, you can earn some more. You can earn 30, 100 grand more just by becoming good at sales and learning sales. And if you have an opportunity to sell someone something and point them in the right direction, you can get compensated for that. So she planted this idea in my head. It's like, oh yeah, have you thought about this event, the 2-day event in Mexico? I think it'd be really great. I see your personal brand, you're growing yourself and you're getting into the right places, and great positioning for yourself to be next to Grant and being around his exec team to learn from them. And when I went back from lunch, back in the room, I couldn't unthink what she said. And I'm like thinking, damn, the price was $25,000, guys. I'm thinking, damn, okay, that's a lot of money again. I'm like back in my, that's a lot of money. Do I spend the money? Obviously, I had the money readily available. So this time I actually had the money in the bank account. I was like, oh, okay, this is even making it a bit easy because in a sense, the money's there. Like,
you had no excuse.
I had no excuse, exactly. Money's there. It's now, do I want to go, not go? I had family arrangements, meant to come back. There's a barbecue happening over the weekend in the UK. And I said, you know what? I kind of called one of my friends. Like, I need to make this move. Should I make this move or not? Like, I'm very tempted. And he's like, you know what? If it's right move, I think even before he had said if it was the right move or not, go for it. I'd already gone for it. So I was like, because I couldn't unthink what she said. I was like, you know what?
Right.
It's an opportunity to be intimate. And at the time, I didn't appreciate what intimacy meant with Grant. And because he wasn't in the room, I didn't understand how very transactional and very like he's in and out of the room. Like there's no opportunity to even speak to Grant when he's in the events. Because thousands of people, everyone wants to see Grant, everyone wants to speak to Grant. You can imagine it's very hard for him to go around the room and speak to every single person. So at the time, obviously, me taking on and going to and experiencing it, and kind of seeing him again at a big event, 10X GrowthCon, I now understood, damn, there is no, like, for example, like, zero. Like, there is no chance to conversate. Like, because I was having a cigar, joking around, playing poker, drinking with Grant, and it's like, there is none of that in these events that you see him in, and it's like he's on the stage, obviously security's next to him, he's walking out the room. Like, there's zero of that. So experiencing that and being that like close to him and having a laugh and learning stuff from him as well was like, for me, it was a priceless experience, because that 2-day, my mind got expanded in a way where there's no way of it going back.
How many of you were in this event?
So 30 people in the room.
Wow.
And this includes his exec team. So that's already like 7 people gone. So the 23 people of actual, like outside of his organization in the room. So like, if this is guys, this is the most close I feel like anyways you can kind of get to, and I think probably the most cheapest way to kind of get to Grant on a close level, like 8 hours plus a day, each day, with the exec team with Grant in the room as well. For me, it was like, I'm so glad. I was so grateful that I moved and rearranged. I had to change flights, tell family at home I'm going to miss the barbecue because I'm going to stay for a few more days and go to Mexico. So I ended up spending like $30,000 to make them arrangements, $25,000 for the room. The hotel was like $1,000 for when you have a room where the room rate is $1,500 a night. Do you know you're staying somewhere
nice.
somewhere different?
Yeah.
Forget nice. You're a nice place somewhere different. From the car pulling up to the hotel to being addressed by the guys, luggages taken care of. Literally, even my laptop bag, guys saying like, "Don't worry, walk in. Here's the person to check you in." Like literally, they took me to the person. They said, "Oh, would you like to drink? Or we can get you a cocktail, whatever cocktail you want. You can tell the guy whatever you want. He'll make you something." Like literally, they've brought food. I'm like, what is going on? Like,
yeah,
it's a whole different experience. So I'm like, damn, maybe this.
So before you've even stepped in with Grant, your mind has just lifted to a whole different level.
The whole venue, the environment you're in. I'm like, where the hell am I? Like, is this heaven? Is what heaven looks like?
Yeah.
Because before that, I've never spent like maybe just the Shard, £500 a night.
Of course.
But this is 3x the Shard's nightly rate. So let's put it into context. Like, and this is a normal room, guys. This is not even. You probably could have spent $3-4 grand a night for one of the better rooms. This is like a deluxe, like nice room, ever seen the sea, So it's a good room, but to my point, it was like that's like an average room in the hotel.
Yeah, sure.
So imagine spending $5,000 a night with them. What would that experience look like? You have a fucking personal butler at the door waiting for you to tell you whatever you need. I don't know. But anyways, so and I'm telling like a story here, but guys, the story for me is a priceless one and a life-changing experience I can't unsee because so many things in that 2 days like expanded my mind of what's possible. One, first I'm seeing someone pay 400 grand upfront, cash, like sign a check here. Grant even made a joke. Oh, did this check? Because he made the payment. He asked the room later on, like, oh, Jared, did the check go through? He goes, yeah, it did. I was like, what the hell? 400 G's paid. Another guy is like £1 million. I'm gonna put into Cardone Capital. Like people were really flexing in that room. I think I felt like this, bro. Like I felt so broke in that room. Like the level of wealth in the room.
Proper brokey, yeah.
Seriously. And it was like, first of all, who are these people? What do they do? And how have they amassed as much wealth to be able to just throw? And one guy spent 1.4 million basically over 2 days of being out there. And I think what hit home for me was I'd had dinner with this guy and didn't understand the level of wealth he had until he kind of run around the room and everyone introducing himself. I'm like, hold on, wait a minute. That's the same guy I had dinner with last night. Why are you saying he's got £20 million in a Morgan Stanley account? He's in a corporate, he works in this $1 billion company whereby the owner's looking at, he wants to try and buy out the owner because he feels the owner isn't expanding anymore. And he's kind of in the room to kind of get ideas from Brandon Dawson, who's the guy who's helping grow the business side of things. So
he's another master, isn't he?
Another master. Yeah. So that's why he spent 400 grand to kind of get an understanding of how can he structure this and kind of get into Grant's good books, or Grant's and Brandon's good books to try and form partnerships. But again, super well connected guy. But he earns about 7.5 million a year from just being exec level at that company. 1,000 units in real estate.
So that's the 9 to 5 you want to have.
So yeah, so that's like 9 to 5 is not a bad thing. Like, you got to operate at the higher level. You got to try and become an exec at exec level. Even have equity in the business if possible. Because for me, then you're working indirectly, like you've got ownership in the business. So whatever value you bring to the business is translating to your equity share, your share price in that business. So for me, it's a fair trade, a fair exchange. So yeah, like, and obviously I was meeting business owners like, what do you do? What revenue? And this is the room where you can ask anybody what you make, and nobody looks at you crazy. It's like, how much you make? Oh, I make £20 million a year, or $20 million a year in my business. Oh, I do landscaping. I've done about 80 million last year, looking at doing 30 million this year.
Damn.
And you're like, okay, this is a great
playing with grass.
Literally, man. It's like, for me, I was so super grateful in terms of, one, again, betting on myself and wanting to be in a room like that, even though I was nowhere near the wealth of the people in the room.
Yeah.
And Gerald made a great statement and he says, guys, look around you. This whole getting off the hamster wheel and like wanting to kind of get to this pinnacle and kind of stop, it doesn't really exist. Everyone here in this room in their rights can potentially be sat on a boat somewhere, chilling, kicking back, not working. But we're all here talking about how can we do more. Grant was like, look, guys, the reason I hold this event is because I want people like yourselves in the room who are big thinkers, who want to amass more.
Yeah.
And provide a vehicle whereby myself and yourself can partner up where it's $1 billion vertical. And it's like, guys, very bluntly, I'm not interested in a £100 million opportunity. I already have these opportunities around me. I have these in my business today. I only want to discuss opportunities whereby there's an opportunity to go to $1 billion plus. And if it's not that, I'm not interested.
And GC said that straight.
Straight.
Wow.
Straight. Like, $1 billion is a minimum opportunity this vehicle's got to be. If it's not, don't talk to me about it. I don't want to hear it. So I know you want to come and tell me and pitch me ideas. That's all great. But this is the benchmark. $1 billion plus, or do not speak to me about it. I was like, fuck me. That's a serious businessman, knows what he wants. And ultimately, you got to look at it. Look, he already has his $1 billion verticals. Cardone Capital is a $1 billion vertical. Cardone Ventures is a $1 billion vertical. 10x Health is a $1 billion vertical. So all the businesses that he has, and this is what's even crazy. So kind of people are like arguing, oh, is Grant a billionaire? I'm like, listen, guys, shut the fuck up, politely. Like, this guy, and people are going to not understand how he's going to amass 40, 50, 100 billion in the years to come, because he has got $1 billion verticals within like each business model.
No way. Within.
So like,
wow.
Cardone Ventures on its own will do $1 billion easily. Like they're 3 years and they're already $110 million.
And that's his education side mainly, right?
That's the Cardone Ventures education side. Then they've now...
It's doing $1 billion.
So with no, it's not doing $1 billion yet, but it's doing 110. It's got to 110, startup to 110 within 3 years. Yeah, that's step one. Within those, they're partnering up with people who have billion-dollar verticals within the industry. So, i.e., cybersecurity, they've acquired a company, they partner up with that company, looking to take that to $1 billion. They've got landscaping, taking that to $1 billion. Transport, taking that they've got billions. So I'm saying, so that Cardone Ventures will go public at some point. I'm pretty sure that's the plan. I don't know if they might want to hold it private for a reason, but there's billions of dollars to be made within that. Like Cardone Ventures can go to 100 billion easily. Like they're this aggressive acquiring the companies, aggressive empowering business owners to get to a certain level so that they can come and partner with them.
Right.
And so it's like they're creating their own customers for Cardone Ventures as well. And like Grant's ecosystem, again, kind of being exposed to how he's built his business. Again, it's super insightful, man. Like you can come in at free YouTube video, you can come in at Cardone Ventures, you come through Cardone Capital. Like there's so many doors to enter into his ecosystem. And once you're in,
you ain't getting out.
Like I've spent about $60,000 with Grant. So this is like from business bootcamp to sales training to marketing to what's it called? I did diamond tickets for Growth Con, so being in the front row. Mm-hmm. Again, I want to be in a network of people. Those guys, there was this Singapore family that was sat in front of me. 5 of them. It's 30 grand each a seat. So what's that? 30 times 5. Maths. Man's gone blank. What's 30 times 5?
150.
Is it? Yeah, it is. So 150K USD spent to sit in a room for I don't know how long. It's 3 days. Yeah, 3 days max.
Whole family were there.
Just to sit on front row. Like, and again, it just, and guys, I'm trying to expose you. Like what I've seen now is like, this is why at the beginning I said that money was precious to me. Now money is not precious to me. Like, money is just a tool. Like, you just got to see it as you might have to pay to get in a room, you might have to pay to get information, but ultimately it's for the better good of yourself, and you're going to go and implement that information or acquire that partnership. I'll pay to get into partnership. Like Grant said to himself, guys, I brought Tom Brady on the stage. So one of the biggest guests he brought on that Growth Con I went to was Tom Brady. Tom Brady spoke for 45 minutes and made, I think it's 3 million or something ridiculous like that. And now because of that, The Rock wants the same deal or a similar deal. Because I don't mind speaking for 45 minutes on your stage and getting paid £3 million.
Yeah.
$3 million, whatever. And obviously for Grant, it's all positioning. Because now he's selling tickets to a room where nobody knows who the guest speakers are. Nobody knows who's coming, who's attending. But he's created this thing of like, he's bought Donald Trump. He's bought Kevin Hart.
Yeah.
He's bought Usher.
Yeah, of course.
All these big names are like, he's going to bring someone great.
When you look at it from GrowthCon 1 to where it is now,
come on,
it's like a concert.
Literally. And the network in the room is amazing because again, people, I guess if you're on the higher ticket side, so if you're in the 10K plus, where people are spending 10K a seat,
yeah,
you'd like to think they're of a serious person. They've got good business, and like, it's not an average person because the average person won't even think to spend 10 grand to go and sit 3 days in a room.
Yeah,
and they're like, what? Why would I rather just watch at home or sit at home? I'm like, okay, you do that. Just let me know how that goes.
Or go in the brokey section.
So it's like being exposed to wealth or people that are willing to kind of spend like kind of senselessly on these type of things, and just like when someone tells you, oh, I just paid 20 grand just to be part of this network. I just wanted to be in this network. So they're not even going to the room looking at transaction. Oh, so again, the concept of like people go into the room and like, oh, what am I going to get for my 20 grand? I'm like, if you're in the mindset of that frame, like of what you're going to get for 20 grand, and you're thinking, oh, it's very transactional, like, am I going to get 20 grand worth of value? I would tell you very simply, do not go in that room.
Yeah, absolutely.
Go put it in bricks and mortar.
Yeah. That's
what bricks and mortar is. I paid 20 grand into this building, it's going to translate to 20 grand worth of bricks of mortar. So if I'm going to go in a room, for me, it's at least 7 figures minimum as an opportunity. The opportunity for me to spend that money to go and acquire information that allows me to build more has to be 7 figures plus. If it's not, why am I spending the money? So it's like, that's the kind of, you've got to be thinking bigger than that and not be very transactional on like the actual, I spent 20 grand, I need to get 20 grand worth of value. Like, I mean, that's the case, stay at home. Just buy some property, close your eyes, pick some property in the country and put 20 grand in there. That's what you're basically asking for.
Yeah, yeah.
So again, it's a whole different perspective, but kind of coming back to just proximity of being around big players and Grant and the exec team and the business owners that are operating on these high heights, it's like, it just made you feel like, one, the whole concept of living crisis, in my mind, flawed, doesn't exist.
You've got an income crisis.
Yeah, exactly. You've got income crisis because people are cashing in. And again, I've seen all types of things. The £1 million a month, £3.5 million a month, the 500 grand a day. I'm like, and the cheek of the guy was like, oh yeah, I don't know why nobody else is doing this. I'm like, you're taking the fucking piss. What do you mean you don't know why nobody else is doing this?
Yeah.
Like 500 years, it's a lot of money to make in one thing. Like here's like a bad day is like 300 grand.
And this guy was doing what?
Info product. One product, 5K product. It's got a whole team around the system, faceless business. So again, can exit the business as well, sell it on. And again, you start learning how to operate good businesses and how to kind of eliminate yourself out of the business and not be relying on yourself for the business to operate. So I've just learned a lot, like just being in these rooms. So yeah, guys, to answer simply, I've spent 150K plus on personal development. And
no regrets.
Zero. I'm super grateful, like, for being in these rooms and being exposed to, and even being fortunate enough to be able to, one, have the money to be able to pay to be in these rooms. Because it's not easy to amass the money in the first place. So if you're in a I know people have got like 300-400 grand and are scared to spend 10 grand on something. I'm like,
that's the wrong mindset, man.
Overthinking the 10 grand decision. I'm like, 10 grand can't be the reason why you don't make a move on something. It cannot be the reason why you don't make a move. Like, it just doesn't make sense. Like, you probably pay that through on, I don't know, taxes. And again, people think, oh, maybe I pay 0% tax. You're paying tax when you buy food. You pay tax when you buy anything. VAT is a tax bill, if you haven't realized, by the way, guys. That's a tax bill. So there's no avoiding tax, unfortunately. So you're spending money, whether you like it or not, on things that bring no value to yourself. Here's an opportunity whereby you can spend money. And I don't want to sell this thing of like, by spending money, you're going to have this outcome. Back to the whole, you've got to be able to, one, commit to what you're acquiring, and two, go and implement that information. Because ultimately, information is useless if not applied.
Absolutely.
So just want to put that caveat around that.
Something you just said there. When you was around Grant, you realize what level or how small your level of thinking was.
Wow.
Now,
I thought big. Everyone thinks I think big.
Yeah, absolutely. You know what? When I came out here in Dubai, within 3 months, actually not even 3 months, within 1 month, I realized that everybody who thinks he's a baller back at home is not a baller. 10 million, 20 million, 30 million is nothing. You know, being in the real estate space, I've had people come to me and say, I want to make an investment. You know, I'm new. I'm going to go here. I'm going to do a bit of this. You start speaking to them. It's like, how much have you got? 50 million. I want to put 50 million in to start with. And I'm trying to hold my face and my composure because my jaw just wants to drop to the floor because I'm thinking, damn, this guy's walked in. You would never think he has 50 million, firstly, to start with.
Yeah.
And then, secondly, when you start talking to him, you realize, hold on a second, this 50 million is just something he wants to play with. This guy is just entering the market at that and seeing how things go. And then you start realizing, okay, what are these people doing? I'm very much like you. When I see somebody who's balling, like I see a kid, some guy where I drop my kids off at school.
Yeah.
I've been dropping them off at the new school 5 days now, yeah? Every day, he's got a different car.
Different car, I would say,
and every day, he's looking good, man. The watches, the millies, everything. And I'm thinking in my head, I'm not hating on this guy because some people will be like, he's a fucking drug dealer.
Have you spoken to him?
Not yet.
Come on, Jay. I'm the guy. I'm listening.
No, I'm working
Bro,
on that.
You're looking good today, man. I see you. I've been seeing you for the last few days. You're looking amazing. I love the way you dress. I love the cars. Like, what is it you do, bro? Like, straight up. And you'd be very surprised. People, I think maybe Dubai, maybe some people are a bit private, but like, you know, in the US, obviously, that's, like, people even love that shit. Like,
yeah,
like,
of course.
Let's talk numbers. Let's talk business. What do you do? Like, I'm gonna ask you what you do as well. So, like, you never know. He can become your next client.
Absolutely.
So I don't know why you haven't spoken to him.
Well, if you've ever done a school run, you realise they park up, drop the kid off, and bang, they're gone.
Oh, okay.
So I'm waiting for that opportunity. Yeah, but anyway, like you said, like yourself, when I see someone balling or someone doing really well, for me, I'm inquisitive. I'm thinking, what is that guy done to be dropping his kids off in that car today, that car tomorrow? What is he doing to be wearing that watch? Yeah. I want to know so I can do what you do or find out how I can take the knowledge from you and put it into my business and grow to that level.
Yeah.
And I think when you come out here to Dubai, you realize that Dubai is one of those countries where people are friendly. People will talk to you. People will give you information. I've been in rooms with people that are millionaires, been in rooms with people that are billionaires. Yeah. And you just think, why is this country or why is this place so well geared for everybody to help each other? Why is there such a big entrepreneurial spirit here? And why are people helping each other build? I'm still trying to figure that one out myself.
Very simply, the guys that like operate at high levels have no scarcity around sharing information, because they understand that by sharing indirectly, goodwill will come their way, or like it just like when you put good out, I just feel like generally if you're a good person, good things will happen to
Good
you
things come
indirectly.
back
Like
to you.
you might have a difficult day in your business, and out of nowhere, someone just said, "Oh, here's an opportunity," and it's gonna make you X. So like, and you didn't know it just came out. Like I can't say how many times I've just had some random message, whether it's a new investor or someone wanting to reinvest, or someone said I've got additional funds. And I've actually needed it, like, and just out of nowhere, it's magically like it's the.
Do you sometimes think, thanks for that, God?
Honestly,
You
that's literally my.
You got me, G.
Literally, I know God has got me because I can't tell you the amount of times I've been in situations where I'm like, I have no idea what this thing's gonna happen. Like, I just have this belief it will figure itself out some way, somehow. So I'm very calm, collective, like under pressure. Like I could need him to raise 200 grand in the day to go, and I'm like, just magically, like the 200 grand just lands, like it's just on time when needed. And like, fucking, how does this shit come together? Like, how?
Yeah.
So I think just back to kind of being around these kind of guys, like they love and when they see someone who's got big drive. So they just need to kind of see that someone has the same thoughts that they do, the same ambitions they do, and very easy to kind of start to talk about what they do, and kind of people like to talk about themselves, especially if done well. You'd be surprised. So there is no scarcity of sharing information, thinking like, oh, he's gonna go and take and have market share. And again, people having scarcity or like, oh, if I tell this guy my property deals and he's going to go and listen, have you understood what market share means? Like, first of all, most industries, property for sure is in trillions of like market shares. So like one person isn't going to impact, I'm sorry, your shitty £10 million goal you've got trying to amass. There's enough to go around, basically, it's the point I'm going to make. So like by me telling you something isn't going to take anything away from me. Like the market share is so huge. Like it's nothing. What you're trying to amass is it's not even a number. It's like literally, I don't know what that number looks like. So it's like when you get to the business world, like these guys are gonna help, and they just know, like, yeah, they might be doing it on purpose, knowing that if they help you out and you see value in what they've provided to yourself, one day you can pay them back a favor.
Sure.
So in business, what you do start to realize is that everything's transactional, whether intentionally or not intentionally. It will just happen as a transaction. Like I can help someone fix a problem they've got. One day I need help. I was like, oh, you help me out. I know someone that can help you. Like even if they can't do it, they're like, oh, I know someone that can help you. Let me try help you. So like now I'm in a position where everyone wants to help Alfred. Like they want to provide value because they know like he's going places. So if I can help him now, this like when he's a billionaire or whatever, he's like, all right, yeah, he's gonna remember. And I'm always grateful for people that have always helped me. Like I'm not gonna forget people that helped me on the come up, whatever. So it's like people now, I guess, have that. I guess that hindsight of like, yeah, let's provide value. Who knows what comes out of it?
Yeah, sure.
And just give basically, and just you never know what will come back in your way.
Sure. Alfred, branding, how important is it? You do it really well. You're constantly doing it.
Yeah.
How important do you think it is in this day and age? And how difficult or how easy is it?
So branding probably has to be number one. Obviously, well, below health.
Yeah.
there is no wealth without health. But the point I'm trying to make is like to be able to get exposure and get a wider network, you've got to build your personal brand. From the perspective of when I was looking at building my property portfolio, I had no money. All I had was the knowledge, the know-how, and I had a network, which was a certain number, a finite amount of people. So it's like, how do I tap outside of that? And for me, what allowed the opportunity to be able to tap out of that was through social media and building a brand and building that know, like, and trust factor. So if you look at any big business person, public figure, like they've all built a personal brand. Like Kim Kardashians and the Kardashians in general, they are billionaires because they built a personal brand. That they've learned how to build a brand and monetize a brand. That's the game. Grant, he's able to amass billions because he, again, built a personal brand, learn how to monetize that brand or audience, should I say, and therefore amassed wealth. So, and again, people kind of think like to become a billionaire, you have to have helped thousands, if not millions of people, like actually better themselves or provide value. Because money only attracts towards value. So if you're not providing value, there's no way you're going to exchange. What's your exchange medium? Money is the only thing that exchange for value provided. So people that are amassing these huge amounts of money because they're exchanging value, which is relative to what they're earning. And it's as simple as that. So that for me all stems from your personal brand and your audience. Because again, You could be great at what you do. You could be a great teacher of, I don't know, whatever. I'm just thinking of something.
Physics?
Yeah, whatever. I was probably a shit one, but I'm thinking from a business perspective. Let's say you're I don't know, makeup. I'm trying to think something very standardized, like a makeup artist. You're going to transact with a certain type of people, like audience, and your personal brand can attract either brokies who want to spend £100, £200 to do makeup, or can attract the type of clientele that wants to spend £10,000 with you.
Yeah.
Your service is no different to those two people you served. You're just in a better network whereby someone you're providing to values what you're providing to them and pays you a higher amount versus someone who doesn't earn as much and doesn't want to spend that much money on that thing. So again, it's like building an audience. You can build an audience of a certain demographic of people, or you can target a higher end clientele. Like in your case, real estate, you can either sell the low end properties or sell the very really high end, and then therefore have a higher clientele. Because again, what's the difference between someone that's selling a 100k property versus someone selling a £1 million property? The activity is the same to a certain extent. The clientele is different. So you're making a commission of the same activity.
Yeah.
So which one would you rather do? They're both hard. So which one would you rather? For me, it's like simple. I'd rather work on the harder thing that has a better outcome. And for me as well, I would say I only get excited by things where the outcome is significant enough. Like if the outcome isn't significant enough, am I going to get out of bed for it? Am I going to go through the troubles day and night when I'm struggling? Like, it's not worth it. Go to bed.
Yeah.
That's the reality of thing. So kind of coming back to personal brand, for me, ultimately, I feel like you've got to focus on that if you're looking to amass any level of wealth. Unless you're from some super rich family, but even that, like usually public figures potentially, but if you're not public figure and you're super wealth, you can just probably be behind closed doors and not need anybody else because you've got your wealth. You don't need anybody else. But if you've got nobody and you're trying to amass wealth, fortunately, you've got to get yourself out there. It's a new currency.
I was just about to say that. I read somewhere that the new currency today is being an authority in what you do.
100%.
Having a strong personal brand.
Yeah.
And having all eyes on you.
Yeah. And having all eyes on you. So again, little trick here, but like there are some people that have got millions of followers, but have no clue how to monetize the audience. So they could have a very loyal following. They've never thought to create a product or a service for their audience that loves what they do. They just have a following. So I hate this. For me, I'm like, how do you have 1 million followers or 100,000 followers
and you sell nothing?
Not even necessarily. I don't hate the word sell, but like provide value. Like for me, ultimately, selling is through selling something. The reason someone's buying something off you is because they see value in the thing they're buying into. So you can use the word sell, but I like to use the word provide value. Because ultimately, they're buying the value that you're providing. Whether it's a jumper, they want to wear a nice jumper, so they like the product, and that's the value they're seeing in paying for that jumper. So you might see it as I'm selling them something, but no, you're providing them value. You're providing them something that they perceive to be good and worth the money you're about to spend on it. So it's like, how do you learn how to monetize that audience? Therefore, that audience now pays you to actually be yourself. Like, wouldn't that be amazing? Like, to just be you and get paid. It's a no-brainer. So for having eyeballs isn't enough. So eyeballs is step one. Once you got the eyeballs, do you know how to convert the eyeballs into cash? That's step two. And a lot of people are missing that trick. So it's next level up is convert that eyeballs into cash.
Yeah, it's mad you say that, man. I mean, most recently I've met quite a few fitness influencers out here.
Yeah.
And you've got two types. You know, you've got the ones that are earning maybe $4,000 or $5,000 a month from doing what they're doing.
Yeah.
And then you've got this select few that I've recently sold a few bits to.
Yeah.
Making $1 million a month through online training.
Yeah.
And when I ask them, what's the difference between what you're doing and that person? They're saying it's the way we sell it.
Yeah.
It's the value in what we deliver.
Yeah.
It's how we place it.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking, so in essence, you're selling the same thing. Yeah.
Yeah. Packaged differently, offered differently, creating a perception of value. Perception is everything. Like perception is number one thing in business. Perception matters so much. I think Alex and Moses says it the best. Like you've got to be able to, the perceived likelihood of achievement needs to be high for someone to want to say yes or buy into this thing. So all these kind of educational stuff, and this is why rent to rent sells so well. And I'm taking a dig. I got guys that do rent to rent, teach all that stuff, but like, it's perceived likelihood of achievement sounds so high. I got to buy into this thing. It's like $2,000 at most. it doesn't cost much to get your first deal, i.e. capital required to get into a deal, versus like HMO, I'm talking about 100 grand plus.
Yeah.
Rent, we're talking about a couple of grand, 5 grand at most. So it's like perceived likelihood of achievement, like, oh yeah, I can go and do this. I've got to acquire some information, cool. So a grand course or £500 course. I've got to get £5,000. For a lot of people, they can kind of figure out how to get £5,000 in their hands to do one one rent-to-rent deal.
Yeah.
So perceived likelihood of achievement is super high. So for them, like you're getting the low-hanging fruit being hanged, and like everyone come do this. This your way into property. And I was like, yeah, this looks achievable. Versus me trying to tell somebody, I'm going to teach you how to buy HMOs where you're going to have 100K plus in equity. You need about 120 grand in all in to do one deal. And they're like, even though I'm saying it, the perceived likelihood of achievement is still scarce in the sense they've never even seen 120 grand in their lives. How do they now perceive that they can all of a sudden, through someone's teaching, go and learn the skill of how to raise capital and therefore amass 120 grand to be able to execute on a deal and build a portfolio base? They're like, that just sounds foreign. It sounds extreme, some people would say.
Yeah, yeah.
So
almost unbelievable.
Yeah, exactly. So perception in business is everything, for sure. And your ability to perceive, for them to be able to perceive that is possible, is what gets them to pull the trigger.
No, some nice points there. Alfred, I want to ask you, is the UK dead? Are you still doing deals in the UK?
The UK is, I don't think it's ever going to be dead. It's one of the biggest cities and most popular cities in the world, and I don't think that's going anytime soon. Obviously, of late, there's been a lot of talks around it's not safe anymore. A lot of business owners and stuff are leaving, or like migrating out of the UK and going to places like Dubai and Miami, America as well. So like, there is that people of leaving, I guess. But ultimately, I feel like it's got its name. The British have done so well in convincing the whole world that this is the number one city on planet Earth that you've got to be at, you've got to experience, you've got to come to at some point in your time. So like,
they've branded themselves.
Yeah, they've branded themselves. They position themselves very well, and the perception of that is London is amazing. So like, people always talk about London. Like, you go to a different country, like, oh, what's London like? Love it there. I can't wait to go there. Like, never been. Looks amazing. So it's all perception. So I wouldn't use the word dead. I think it's declining, is what I would like to say. It has declined, but ultimately still a good place for investment. It's still a good place for opportunities. There's still wealth that exists there. I think people kind of use it as a hub to come in and go out. So if you're fortunate, you can spend some time in the UK, spend other time elsewhere, because the weather is not most appealing in the UK. So for that reason, people who have amassed wealth can have the flexibility of leaving whenever they want to get out of the country because the weather's not great, and go somewhere where the weather is great. Because I do actually generally have this belief that your environment is everything in the context of, in the UK, when I wake up and it's like it's raining, it's dull, cloudy, it actually ruins my mood.
Absolutely.
Versus when I get woken up by the sun, there's a huge difference. Like, energies are higher. It just feel, just like the sun for me, bright. Everything that's bright is like it's good. Like, I don't know what's bright is not good. So it's, for me, it's like I want to be in bright environments. Like, and just being in the sun, being in good weather empowers me. And like, one friend said it to me the best. He's like, Alfred, look how like well you're doing in business in this country. Now imagine making money in the sun. Like, what would that be like for you?
Wow.
And that I couldn't unhear that statement. I was like, Jesus, 'cause I'm in a miserable, like, people need to understand this. In the UK, during the winter months, there's literally from waking up, from the minute you open your eyes, you're battling the day. Getting out that your I don't know, your warm bed to go in this cold environment, it's freezing cold. You come out of the car, it's frozen with ice cream, and you're like, just to get to the gym. That's
the
challenge.
first battle.
That's the first battle. So it's like, damn, like, this environment isn't the most empowering. But I guess what it teaches you, I guess, if you want to look at the positive, I always find a way to find a positive and a negative is teaching you to be resilient. So just because it's cold outside, just because it's damp, just because it's raining, doesn't mean you don't show up. So whichever way you look at it, I guess there's still a plus. But ultimately, I'm in a fortunate position where I can be anywhere in the world now. So like, if I want to be out, I don't see why I need to stay in the UK. I would go. Like, I'm spending a month here. I'm going to spend a month here, and if I want to stay longer, I'll stay longer. When I'm ready to go back to UK, I'll go back to UK. If I've had enough of UK, I leave UK.
Yeah, sure.
So it's again, I guess, being
You're
fortunate.
agile. You can be wherever you want to be.
Exactly that as well. Yeah.
It's what you said there, waking up in the morning. It's a big one. You know, like, back in the UK, you used to get up at the early hours of the morning. You're fighting the cold.
Yeah.
It's miserable. You finish a good gym session. You have a good breakfast. And then it's like, okay, shit, now it's raining. Now I've got to get on with my day. I've got to spend the day in a car. I'm sitting in traffic. You're fighting so many negative factors.
Yeah.
I think one of the things I realized as soon as I came here was my plan was to do nothing when I came here, was just to chill.
Yeah.
But as soon as I came here, I realized one of the best things here is the morning routine. Now, I can get up. It's hot. It's sunny.
Yeah.
Even when it's dark, it's sunny.
Yeah.
At night, it's warm.
Yeah.
You get up, I walk outside my villa, and I jump in the pool.
Yeah.
You don't do that in the UK. That starts your mood off so nice.
Yeah.
You know, and you've got a choice to do that. Whereas, like you said, as soon as the sun hits you,
Yeah.
you're like, okay, it's almost lifted you. You're feeling right now, I'm good. I'm ready for the day.
Yeah.
I'm set nicely for the day. Whereas I feel what you said there about the UK, sometimes it can be like that. But don't get me wrong. Recently, I hear you've had some really nice weather.
No,
and things are great.
I'll disagree. Like, that's the reason I'm here. That's the reason I'm here, guys. It's August. It's been a horrible month. It's been raining. I think over the last week or so, the weather's improved.
Yeah.
How long will that last? Nobody knows. Probably today. I don't know what the weather is already today. It might be raining today. Who knows?
Yeah.
But like, I just feel like I love coming to Dubai because very simply, like I even like had dinner on the weekend and met some business owners. One's exiting his business, doing about 10 million revenue a year, about 60% profit margin in that business model. So he's exiting that. They're looking to complete next month on the sale of that. Another 22 and 25-year-old kids who are doing about 600K to 800K a month in product as well. So like people that are just doing really well. And it's like, for me, I want to spend more time in these type of environments and have more of these type of conversations. Because for me, I'm collecting data. I'm collecting data of what it takes. So for example, I asked him, how long did it take for you to get to 600K a month doing it for product business? He's like, 2 years. Okay, so it's possible to do in 2 years. I need to figure out how can I do it in 2 years. And that I'm just collecting reference points and kind of understanding what it took for that individual to get to where they are. And this is why, like, I know you said you met the guy. I'm like, you never know what the guy's doing. He could be doing something that could provide immense value to yourself, and his network could be amazing. So it's like you just got to have the conversation. Just pull up to the guy next time. Look, just beep. Put your window down.
Yeah.
How's it going, man? I never get a chance to speak to you, but I just wanted to say hello today and just like keep seeing you rolling up every day, nice, different car, dressed nice. Yeah, I like it. I really like it. And then just build rapport, bro. Like that's day one. Next time you might jump out the car to have a conversation because, like, you know what? I saw this guy again. Let me say hi to him. See what he's up to.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's where it starts. So just get brave. I know people might get uncomfortable going up to someone who's got wealth and like asking what they do, or like, and it's not even just going straight in for the kill. Like, what you do is like just compliment people. Again, you got to be a people's person. Everyone can't be horrible to you for complimenting them.
Of course.
Like, you tell me you look good. You look. Every time I walk past, you smell nice.
You're gonna make someone's day saying that.
Do you know what I mean? Exactly. So like, compliment, guard is down. Who's this person? They're naturally like, who are you? What's your name? Blah blah. Oh, and it's kind of inviting to what you do.
Yeah.
Because if you just make
I think that comes naturally to you because you've been the master of raising finance. You know, you've had to just go up and ask people or talk to people.
Yeah.
But that leads me nicely onto my next question as well. So look, everybody who, I won't go too much into it, but if you want to find out more, you go onto his page and you'll see Alfred has raised serious amounts of money.
Yeah.
You know, and it's not easy asking people for money.
And so, reframe. I'm never asking people for money. I'm providing value to people.
Absolutely. Okay,
that are transacting with money.
I was waiting for you to say that.
Yeah. So like, it's not, the game isn't to go, nobody likes being asked for money. Like, you think of yourself, when someone comes to you and asks for money, it's just not a nice feeling. I lead with value. And that's why people transact to me. I'm leading, I'm coming into a call, building a rapport with you, in a call, seeing what life is like for you, what's important to you, what's been your experience of investing before, what kind of returns have you seen in the past. Like, that's me fact finding. So I'm like, okay, I'm getting a gauge of, are you someone that's got appetite for investing? Are you someone that's invested before? Are you someone that's done how money works? Like what do you do with money? I'm just gathering data.
Yeah.
And what people are doing wrong is going for the straight kill, i.e. pitch.
Yeah.
Like, how can you go and ask someone for 100 grand? You don't even know first of all, you don't even know if they've got 100 grand. First, you might perceive they've got 100 grand based on what they do, but they might not have 100 grand. You might not even know if they're willing to invest a level of money of 100 grand into an investment. Like, what's been their previous track record of investing that level of capital into a deal or into an investment scheme? And so if you haven't understood this, how can you can already see how you're going to fail. You're already setting yourself up to fail because you haven't understood what's worked for them in the past and how you can position your opportunity to allow them to want to say yes to you. Because if I know this individual has invested 100 grand into some stock market maybe, and he's been seeing a return of 8% a year, I already know, like, if I position my offer at 10% monthly returns, he's gonna be like, you know what, 10% per annum, I'm seeing monthly returns, like, it's fixed return, like, this sounds like an exciting opportunity for me to want to even pay attention to.
Sure.
Or even if I just kept it the same, but obviously if I kept it the same, there's now comparing to the stock market. So I've got to want to entice them to want to say, okay, a bit more, to want to maybe move the money to me.
But if you go in at 6%, you've lost his interest straight away.
Straight away.
And you wouldn't know that.
You wouldn't know
qualifying him.
Exactly. So it's like, it's an art. And I tell you, look, you can learn the skill of raising capital. You just got to get in the right rooms, find the person that's done it, and learn from that person. The person will show you the how, and that's it. So you can try and figure out, it can't be that hard. I'm going to try and, listen, you're losing out on money raises because you're going for a kill and you're probably pitching investor packs. Fucking waste of time. Stop doing that shit. I don't have one. I did try to look, because I've taught that's how you do it.
Yeah.
Super low conversion. Not to say it doesn't absolutely work. Like, it's super low conversions. I want to have a 25%, 30% chance of converting someone I'm speaking to versus a 1% chance of trying to get someone through reading an investor pack.
Yeah, I think that investor pack should just aid what you do later on down the line once you've qualified someone and they've shown an interest.
For me, very simply, we're in a day and age where there's zero concentration. Nobody wants to spend time looking too hard at something. So tell me how you're going to send a 5-page, 2-page, 10-page document, and you want someone after busy days of work, whatever, family, kids, to read a 10-page document to understand what the hell you're doing. That's never going to happen. They'll glance at maybe. So it's like, again, what's the purpose of that? You want them to understand this thing properly. So the most best thing to do is to get on a phone call or in person. A Zoom call, they've got your full concentration, not a phone call. Phone call, you can still drive and have a conversation. No, I need your full divided attention. We're one-to-one like we are now, and we're having a conversation.
Of course.
There's no distractions in the background. You're thinking about this. I'm getting to answer questions that I'm asking. So for me, like, I found a way in which I can get much higher conversion. So why would I play with something that isn't giving me a conversion rate at all? Like, it's very low. I'm losing out, if anything.
Of course. So based on that, Alfred, what are you working on at the moment? Because I heard a little rumor that there's this 300 unit thing going around or something. I may have read something, little birdie told me, but I want to know, where is Alfred going now? Because obviously you're known well for the HMOs,
Yeah.
That's how me and you connected.
Yeah.
And you've done them well and you do them well.
Yeah.
It's a recipe you've perfected now, I feel, and it's just rinse and repeat.
Yeah.
But where are you going now? Because obviously you've been around these people that are doing the 100 million, 50 million, whatever it is.
Yeah.
Surely I can tell your eyes are lit up. Your whole vision has changed. So where are you where's your trajectory now?
Yeah, so everything I do is very intentional. I'm a very calculated person. If you know me well, I'm very, very calculated. So like, I'm not just going to Miami and taking trips by myself, figuring out the game and investing into my education for no reason. Like, there's a purpose behind everything. Like, I think I've got to a point where, look, I built a portfolio whereby, it provides me income. I haven't got to think about the income. It drops in every single month. So that, in effect, has bought me time back in terms of being able to think and re-strategize. Okay, what do I do next? Because I kind of say, look, there's the different stages. 0 to a mil is a step, a strategy required to get there. Mil to 10 million is a strategy required to kind of get to that stage. 10 mil to 100 mil, different strategies required to kind of make the jump. So for me, I'm no longer excited by earning an additional £2,000 per property. And don't get me wrong, I'm still doing a HMO conversion. I'm doing a 6-bedroom HMO as we speak. It's a conversion going on back in Coventry. That's happening in the background. For me, it's like, let's rinse and repeat. I raise the money, allocate to the deal, got a team that executes it, so it's no problem. But I'm starting to get to a point where now it's like I'm adding on, factoring, or again, paying more attention to time as part of the equation. So we can all spend 12 months. So you can spend 12 months. I can spend 12 months in the same business industry, same principle, whatever. But you could do a lot more. You could have gone and amassed £10 million or £20 million in the same 12 months, and I've only amassed £1 million in 12 months. Who would you rather be? Or I'd rather be you.
The one who's
so me being exposed to guys that are doing more in less time or doing more in the same time, I'm like, we all spend the same 24 hours a day. What game would I rather play?
Sure.
So it's now like, okay, my exposure and I guess my vision has been widened and kind of exposed to what's possible. And it's now getting me to think, how can I become them and how can I do what they do to do more deals in the same period of time? So it's like I could go down the route of building a bigger HMO portfolio. I'm like, that isn't going to get me to £100 million. It's just not. I guess factually it can do. The horizon of what that looks like could be 20, 30 years.
Yeah, it's going to take some time, isn't it?
And let's be real, I'm not spending 20, 30. So again, I'm like pretty much back to reset from like the context of where I was in the corporate days, where I thought, okay, I'm earning 60 grand a year. How do I cross the 100K, 150K, 200K a year mark? I'm very similar position. Like now, okay, I'm earning 30 grand a month from my HMO portfolio, £4 million built asset base. And I'm thinking, okay, cool.
How do I leave this now?
Yeah, how do I not necessarily
step
bluntly, step out there, like what's the new vehicle? Like what's the vehicle that gets into 100 mil? Like where's the opportunity where it's big enough, significant, like big enough for me to get excited, for me to like wake up and say, I want to go for the trouble of making this happen. I want to go for the trouble of building a team to help this vision come to light. So it's like, that's what I'm now searching for. And that's why I've been traveling and kind of gathering data and getting information. And for me, like I want to start acquiring big apartment blocks. So similar to what Grant Cardone has done with Cardone Capital. In effect, I probably won't give away here, but I'm going to build something whereby I'm going to raise capital. Obviously, I've been raising capital on a debt base only, but now I kind of want to move to like an equity-based structure whereby we're acquiring big assets, 100 units plus, and saying, look, guys, one, I want to bring you guys as partners onto these deals. I myself am investor. I'm not going to just fucking find you deals and find you these amazing assets. We're going to make you amazing returns. I am actually going to be an investor in these deals as well. Obviously, I'm going to be one that's going to find a deal, source a deal, close a deal, get the lending, all of that stuff, and in effect manage these asset bases. So in effect, I'll become like a fund manager, going around raising capital, allocating to bigger properties and have equity partners in those deals where we grow their equity share over like a 10-year cycle. So it's like a long-term investment play, but now Alfred is offering equity. He's never offered equity before. And I've always said, look, I'm going to offer equity. There's got to be a few zeros.
I remember you being very blunt about
that. Yeah,
like,
because I'm like, listen, guys, people are coming, let's do a JV on like a 500K deal. Listen, why the hell would I get in bed financially with you like for $500,000? For $500,000, like, and outcome profit is like £1,500, that's £750 each. Like, it's too much hassle. Like, let's add a few zeros to that. Let's talk about making 100K a month, 200K a month from an asset. I can take 100K a month away from that. You can take 100K. That's worth my time. I'm not going to get in bed with you financially to now see £750, which for some I get can be a lot of money, but for me it's just not worth the hassle. And I guess long-term vision where I'm trying to go, having that financial link doesn't make sense to me. So my portfolio today, I don't have any equity partners. There's nobody who can say they have a share in my company or anything like that. It's all me. But this new venture, it's where we're going to go big. So we've got some serious money. You know I am. I'm playing it big. I want to play it big. I want to become the family offices and the pension funds, insurance funds that I invest in and buying these trophy assets in all the major cities in the UK, and literally going around acquiring these blocks, residential blocks that are being rented out. We manage it over a period of time, increase the rents over a period of time, increase asset value over a period of time, and we all win. And again, the position in this time is like, I'm not like, I'd love for you guys to come on board, but if you don't want to come on board, I'll figure out some partners who want to do it. I'm going to put some money in the deals myself as well, because like I said, I want to have a piece of this equity in the building. I'm not going to go buy this 200-unit building and you invest, I'm working for you guys, and you guys are going to come and invest your tens of millions into these deals and I have no money in there myself. Doesn't make sense. I'm backing myself, one, on the asset by investing my money into the deal. So again, it should give a level of confidence to my investors. Like, look, I am putting skin in the game, I would like to call it. What's your skin in the game? It's not just hours of work. No, my own money is in this equity. Like we're equity partners. I am in this deal myself as well, not just you. And I'm servicing you and finding these buildings for you and charging you a fee on the stuff. No, I'm in the deal myself. So you can come be partner with me, back me, and let's go big. Or I'm going to figure a way out some way, somehow, and do deals.
Your focus is still very much real estate.
Yeah. So still real estate. It's just a different trajectory in terms of being able to amass big assets much faster than what I've currently done.
Sure.
So
love that.
Big.
Nothing's everything's changed. But what I mean is the kind of core has still stayed the same from you started with the property and you're just taking it up to the next level. Yeah. Where you've kept it, it's still very much focused and tunnel vision and laser focused on creating wealth through that one channel. Yeah.
And I think what I kind of learned, so there was the point where I was talking about M&A, and I kind of thought, Alfred, what's your strengths? Your strength, what you're known for, is raising capital. So like really and truly, I can go into any space I want and the value proposition I can bring to the table is I can raise your money. So it's like, if that's my core strength, stick to that. Don't try and become an expert in trying to acquire businesses, grow, scale businesses. Actually find somebody that's good at that.
Mm-hmm.
We create a company together. We own 50/50 of the company. You've executed on several purchases, exited companies. You've got a track record. Investors trust me with their money. Then I'm going to select someone as a great business partner to work with. And all I'm going to do is add fuel to the fire, which is you've got a proven process that already works. Here's the money to help us scale. We can go and acquire. So I'm hoping to have $2 billion verticals, which is like the M&A side of things for a partnership, and then the real estate side of things as well. Acquiring assets, huge assets.
I like
and just
that.
keep scaling. So like, who knows? But there's a lot to work. Like for me, I'm at a stage where I couldn't care less if I don't even make a single penny extra for the next 2 years. But if I land £100 million worth deal size, it was worth the time, worth the effort spent to do that one deal.
Absolutely.
Because I can spend 2 years doing the same thing. I won't amass what that one deal could even provide me. Nowhere near. Maybe 10% of that. So which game is the better game to play?
Yeah.
And that's why, for me, the reflection upon like just being around bigger business owners, time has to be a factor in what it is you're doing. And to be fair, the luxury of that only comes when you've got the foundation, which I believe I've now built. So you can't just, on a come up, you can't just say, I'm going to just spend 2 years and not make a single penny. Like, tell me how you're going to survive.
Yeah, of course. You've built that. You've got the safety net there now.
Exactly.
You know, which is allowing you to have that freedom to go ahead now.
Exactly.
And like I said, not leave, but step out. So you stepped out of the 9 to 5 to get into this. You're now stepping out of this to go to the next level.
And I'm sure I'll step onto that to go something. I don't know. Like and you know what's kind of very insightful? You can only make decisions based on the information you have today, or where you are, or what you've seen, or even exposed to.
Yeah.
So I'm sure there's other things I haven't even been exposed to. Like even going public, haven't really gone in a room where everyone's said, "Oh yeah, I've gone public in my company. We're a $1 billion company." Like, but very soon, the more and more I get into bigger rooms, I'll get into rooms where people will say, "Well, you're taking companies public." And right now, I don't have a dream to go public with a company, but the more you get around these people and kind of showing how possible it is, what the potential is, what the opportunity is, maybe it's not a bad idea. Maybe this does work. I now have the right team around me that can help me get there. So it's now a dream or a vision that I want to, or a target I want to now hit. So you won't know until you have to leave the room. So the point I'm trying to make here is a room will serve up to a certain point, and you've got to learn to leave that room to go to the next room. Because there's always a bigger and better room. And that's one thing I've learned. Like every time I go into once upon a time, I used to think 60 grand a year was a lot of money because of my surroundings. Then I made it fucking peanuts. Now, 60 grand a month, it's like, I've even had 60 grand days. So it's like, I've just been exposed to more. I've met people that are making 3.5 million a month. And it's like, that's my new normalized type of earning. Like, there's no reason why I can't get to that level where they earn the same as them. So it's being exposed to that stuff. It's all possible, guys. It might sound so like strange and foreign and like, what do you mean 60 grand in a day? Trust me, bro. That shit happens like clockwork.
Yeah.
But it's again, you don't know what you don't know. And the whole, I don't know, I've drew this kind of pie chart, learned from Grant and Brandon Dawson. And there's a concept of like a pie chart is like wealth of knowledge. 1% is the stuff that you know, like you actually know, generally you're expert, you know about it. 2% is of things that like you know, you need to know, but you don't know what it is. You're aware of it, but don't know how it works. Then the 97% is the stuff that is not even on your, like you don't know like this even exists. And so you've got to be humble and be a student in the game and actually go out there, always being a student and knowing that there's something out there that you don't know. And be humble enough to go in a room and like always be someone wanting to kind of just learn, like you said it previously, being inquisitive. The reason why I am where I am today is because I've been super inquisitive. Yeah. I'm not ignorant. I don't see things and dismiss what I've just seen. No, I just saw someone spend 1.4 million in a day. How the fuck did he do that? Like, how is he amassed? Like, I'm not gonna he spent 1.4 million just dismiss it. No, like, hi, nice to meet you.
What are you doing to be able to spend that? Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? It's like you've got to pay attention. Like, and again, some of us walk around this planet and are super ignorant and don't even think about the things that are even just around us. Like, there's so much opportunities around us that we even just take things for granted. Simple things like the bulb on the highway. There's someone that's out here who has a business that is maintaining those street lamps that you drive past every day thinking, how is this thing always on? This always works. Someone that's cutting the grass for the councils, they're collecting millions and millions. Someone's fixing the roads that you drive on every single day. Someone's repainting those roads. And road marking you see on the road every single day, you keep driving past, it's always there. Or when it fades away, someone comes in. Someone's been awarded a contract to go in. And it's simple businesses that are not the most cleverest of things. Like, it's just simple stuff.
You know what? I love that.
And
you know why? Because one of my clients that I sold a villa to out here, he's from the UK. And you know what his business is?
what?
Is clearing weeds on the side of railways. And when this player told me that he starts from the south and he looks after all the tracks to the north, by the time they get to the north, it's time to come back down again. And millions and millions and millions on clearing weeds.
Listen, guys, and this is just data. I'm great. I'll go around and collect data. I'm just inquisitive. I'm just super inquisitive. I want to find business owners, find out what they did, how they get there, what vehicle were they in. And every time I've met someone who's massed 50, 100 million, you ask them business, it's like some super boring landscaping. I'm trying to think what's the most weirdest one that I've come across. I'm like, pasta. That one blew my mind. He's doing 20 million a year, guys, selling pasta. I'm like, to be fair, like even just logically, just think of it. How many times you eat pasta in a week or in a month? How many times you buy pasta through the grocery stores? Obviously, he hasn't even necessarily even gone on the lower end. He's gone to the high end. He supplies pasta to hotels, luxury hotels. So he makes luxury pastas. So he's on the higher end. So he's getting paid a lot more for the same product, which is slightly better than what you buy from the grocery store and the supermarket. But again, someone's amassing 20 million a year for selling pasta. Let that sink in, guys. Like pasta. The thing that you take for granted, you walk past and think, oh, it's a £1 in the shop, £2 in the shop. Someone's collecting millions of pounds. And it's everything you think about. Like we just miss so much. Like so much things get taken for granted. And you just got to be like, open your eyes and like just start paying attention to what's happening. What's the data point?
Yeah.
How has it been achieved? How did they go about doing it? What did they do? What was their trajectory of getting to this place? They didn't start here. Like they're great. They've got amassed 100 million, half a billion. But what was it like at 0 to 10?
Sure.
So yeah, a lot has changed for me, man. My lens is so wide and it's insane. Like it's insane.
Well, you won't believe it, Alfred. We've nearly been going for 2 hours.
Really?
I've got last couple of questions here before we wrap up. Now, look, real estate. We have a background in property. Now, obviously, I'm in Dubai learning a whole new market because I want to do exactly what I did in the UK out here.
Yeah.
I want to renovate. I want to sell. I want to mass profit through that.
Yeah.
Yeah, because my skill lies in renovations. It's something I enjoy. I've got a passion for it.
Yeah.
What's your thoughts on the Dubai real estate market?
Do you know what?
And why are you not in it?
So for me, very simply, I know it's a great market now, and I feel like it's a great opportunity to kind of get in and get out. I think Dubai, you've got to be transactional. Do you not think I'm going to sit on this and you can ride it to the top? I feel like the smart ones are the ones that are a year in, reposition the capital they bought in that asset, put it somewhere else, and kind of that's the game. And it just generally wealth building, that's what happens. You reposition your money from time to time. But I think the market is a good market. What the government has done is very clever in the sense they've been very inviting to come to the country. 10-year golden visa, you got to spend I think 2 million to be able to get the 10-year golden visa, which is amazing. Like you get access to the country, which is again a great environment, super safe. They've done all the right things to make it super inviting for you to come out here. It's even cheap. It's pretty cheaper than some of the places you guys are going to in Europe, or to a certain extent, in terms of getting on a flight and coming here. Like it's like if you buy a shitty ticket, unfortunately, economy ticket, £500-600 to get yourself to Dubai. But once you land in Dubai, obviously expenditure-wise, it's super high.
Yeah.
But ultimately, I think as a place, it's definitely somewhere I would want to invest. But as a betting man, I'd rather put money in Saudi.
Yeah.
I feel like Saudi will surpass again, data. I'm a data person. Like, so look at
data would suggest that. Yeah.
Yeah, they would suggest one, Saudis have a lot more money than the guys in Dubai. Just one data, and for me, that's everything I need to know. And I guess the second element is the people running the countries are willing to pour money into their country. They love their country. They've got big ambitions for their country, and they will spend anything, everything to make it the nation of the world. So that's another great trait. as a leader of the country like that. So for me, it's like these are so UAE in general. It's like it's borderline becoming a superpower, if not already, in my opinion, because the money is there. Like they've got money for days. Like the money they have is indestructible. Like so, it's like the opportunity is here. I think a lot of people kind of used to the current environment. Like I was talking to a friend recently talking about why are we so attached to the UK? Why can't we leave the UK? Like why is our identity trapped in this country called UK?
I left with my whole family.
So I made a funny point. Look, I remember I'm probably spending about 4 months out of the year, out of the country anyways. And it's only, once upon a time it was like a month, went to 2 months, then it's gone to 3 months. So I'm slowly progressing towards the months out of the year. So very soon it'll be a point where like, I've had enough. I'm going to be out completely out of the UK. So I think natural progression will happen. But I don't know, there's something that's holding me back. I don't know what it is. Scarcity, I don't know. But
Soon.
Yeah, soon I think as well. Yeah.
Alfred, there's one last question I want to ask you. I know both of me and you do it. You own the assets that make you money.
Yeah.
And you rent the one that's a liability that you live in.
Yeah.
Now, I know back in the UK, it's a real big thing for people to own their own house. And for me, early in my 20s, it was the same thing.
Yeah.
But as I sit here right now, I own assets that make me money, but my own home is a rented home.
Yeah.
And there's a very good reason for that. And we said the word agile earlier on. But I want your perspective on it because I know you're big on this, right? And you've just recently moved into a new home as well.
Yeah.
What's your thinkings about renting a home and owning the assets?
So again, society norms, you get sold the idea of you need to buy a home. And I kind of heard it from Grant and he said it best. Being told to buy a home is the bank's way of them ensuring that they make money every single year. Because obviously by buying a home, you take a mortgage from them, which then means they make money off you, of the same money potentially you've got saved in their bank account as well, by the way. Just add a bit more context to that as well. And ultimately, like, what people need to realize is your home is a liability in a sense. Your precious job that's making 100 grand, 50 grand, 60 grand, whatever the number is what's allowing you to stay in that home. Try not paying your mortgage for 4 months and let's see what happens. That so-called home that you perceive as your precious home, the house you're building, whatever, your place, your stable, now becomes no longer an asset and people, again, have the perception, I've got equity in my property. Do you realize when you default, the bank has no loyalty to the equity you have within the share of that property, i.e. they can sell for whatever borrowing they've got against the asset. So if they want to exit out of that asset because of the stress or they want to just get their money back and not have to deal with this default issue, they can sell at whatever the minimum money is required, i.e. their total loan amount, which could be 70, 90%, 8%, whatever the number is for them to get out, and mean that your deposit or your equity that you think you have in that deal, it's gone.
Yeah. So
it's a false sense of security. And so for me, it's like as well, trying to, I think when you look at even on a larger scale, so like maybe on a South African K home, you can kind of make sense of putting a 50K deposit, paying stamp duty, £10,000 maybe. But again, I'm a data person, do the maths. I want to live in nice environments, like super nice environments. These super nice environments, unfortunately, cost a lot of money. So even, I think I can't remember, don't quote me on this, but let's say you want to buy a £2 million home. £2 million home, you can get a lot of things, have what you need in the home, nice environment, empowering environment. But the maths on that, to be able to live and be able to afford to be able to live in that house. So let's say you're on a 5% interest rate on, let's say you put in, I don't know, because usually people say 10%, 15%. But I think on the high end, probably a bit more. But let's say keep numbers simple, 10%. 10% on £2 million is 200 grand. So you have to have 200 grand parked into this house. That's one step one. You've then got to pay the stamp duty on a purchase of 2 million. And I think from memory, it's just under 100K. Okay. If not mistake, don't quote. Like again, just do the stamp duty.
Let's say we're at 300K.
So 300 grand to be able to just to get the keys. Step one. Then you've got to now start servicing the mortgage on that. And again, people are going to kind of do the not interest only, sorry, because it's not investment. It's a home. People go for capital plus interest payments. The capital plus interest payments on a £2 million home where you've got like 1.7, 1.8 million of borrowing, it's like 15 grand, literally 15 grand a month. So, and 15 grand, if you do the maths on what actually is paying towards down the capital, to paying down the debt on the property versus what's going on interest, a good 8 of that 8K of that 15, or if not even more, is interest only, i.e. just interest servicing the 1.5 whatever the number is, 1.7, you get my point. 1.7 million pounds of borrowing you got from the bank. So whichever way you're looking at it, I can still afford to stay in that same house. The money I'm technically throwing away, the 7-8 grand, whatever it is, on the interest only. Yeah, I'm throwing away by living in the house either way. Whichever I own it, doesn't make a difference. So I'd rather just not put that money, 300 grand, because I know I can go away and spend that 300 grand.
The ironic thing is you'd probably rent it for less than that interest portion.
100% you rent it for less for that. So there's no way to make money on it. Put it simple. So even trying to rent that kind of house, you're gonna make a loss on it. 100%. You might maybe pay the capital bit yourself, and then the interest bit is what the person who's renting from you is covering for you, for example. So my point is, I, as a businessman, what I know today, would not park 300 grand in an asset. Well, one, give 100 grand to HMRC for something that's technically a liability to me, just because I'm transacting on the purchase, which isn't bringing me income. Doesn't make sense to me. So plus my deposit, I can put that into asset, like something that's providing me income every single month. And for me, that's a better utilization of my capital versus putting into a home where if I stop paying tomorrow, or even I want to move and now I'm trying to sell it, selling a £2 million home isn't a quick sell, guys. Unfortunately, it's not.
There's a limited market for it.
Limited market. It's got to be a special type of product people want to buy into. So I don't know how long it'll take for me to get my equity back. So now I'm just sitting around, waiting around, thinking, am I going to get money back? When is that going to come? So for me, it's just not. It's just
the market can take a downturn as well.
All these things, all these factors. So for me, it's like I want to remain agile, like we talked about, be able to move. I want to move. I'm like max a year contract, and I can get out, move on, go somewhere else. So like, I think people just need to learn to play the game. And I think the more you learn about how money works and how society works and how business works, you start valuing the money that you're making, how to better position that money, and ultimately the game is to buy income. And if there's one thing you take from this podcast, whenever you make money, go buy income with that money. That is the game. Either that or you work as a slave forever. And like, I'm sat here, I'm getting paid. Not directly by James, but like, the point I'm trying to make is like, my properties are paying me, and it's building that asset base that provides you income. Ultimately, it's wealth creation to me, and not my home. My home is not wealth creation. That doesn't even get added to the balance sheet of what it's just it's a liability. Without me paying my mortgages, I don't keep that house.
And it comes back to what I just said. You own the assets that pay you, because ultimately somebody is living in our homes.
Yep.
And they're paying the mortgage each month.
Yep.
And we're getting an income from it.
Yep.
We're building an asset.
Yep.
Which is hopefully going up every single year. And we can use some of that money to go and live somewhere proper bling.
And that's the game. Yeah, guys. It's hard truth. But yeah, rent when you live.
You heard it here first. So guys, listen, we need to wrap it up. Alfred, just quickly, last question I always ask everybody is, look, obviously it's a long way off, but when it's said and done, and it's all over, what do you want people to remember you by, or what? Or is there something you would say that you'd want people to remember you by? I know it's a bit of a morbid question, but I'm going to ask it anyway.
I think like I got asked this question recently on the podcast I did, and I kind of had to think about it. But I think ultimately, like, people remember me for my ability to think big and go for the things I want, regardless of what people think. Always backing myself. So like, I feel like just in life, you've got to back yourself. Nobody else will back you. Your mum and dad might back you, but truly, really and truly, it's still you that takes you to back yourself to make the move. So you got to back yourself. But in terms of remembering me, like, obviously I've been good at documents and stuff, so people are going to kind of see what it's taking for me to build my wealth. And I'm trying to be as transparent as possible with this stuff as well, to kind of see the growth and how I've evolved at each stage. And for my kids as well, to be able to see it, my great grandkids, whatever, to see this is someone, do you know what I mean, the family that has built wealth, and this is what it took. So I'm sure I'll leave something behind, if at a bare minimum, if not known as something, it'll be content for you to watch back.
Yeah, I'm sure as well. I think you're going to be known for being laser focused. I've said it before and I'll say it again. Alfred, thank you so much for joining me again. And it's been a great podcast. Guys, I will leave his contact details. Do go and have a look, because most of you watch this in Dubai now. And I think it'd be great for you to connect with him, see what he's all about, and just scroll right to the bottom and you'll see his whole journey on how it's folded. And I think it's going to be a nice journey for the next part as well. So thank you.
Appreciate it. Thanks for having me, man.